Wait, I got a lot of thoughts on this, so let me just hijack the show for a minute. I know, producers, we got to get to serious stuff. I'm sorry. I'm just taking over, okay? Number one, I was up in New York doing my show, like 2 weeks ago? Fox and Friends, to Gavin, to Lauren, to the whole crew, to Suzanne. You couldn't have Flo Rida there when I was there? Come on, we got to coordinate this better. What's going on? We got to coordinate this better. What do they call it? You got to keep the talent happy. I would have loved that. We got to coordinate this whole thing better.
We couldn't have that much South Florida energy up here at one time, Dan. That's the problem.
Well, that's a good point. We may have melted the building down, which is a good point. Number two, I don't know if you caught it. Like, I noticed little things, right? I don't know, the old Secret Service guy in me, whatever. Did you see the guy, Big Zach, who took Flo Rida on his shoulders? Did you see him just like lift him up with one arm? What the hell was that? What is this guy, an X-Man? Is he like the big armor dude from X-Men? Like, holy Moses. Go watch
He's like
that
Tyrus.
video.
Yeah.
And then the baby, too. And then they took the baby.
Yeah.
He just lifted him up. I mean, Flo Rida's not a small guy. And I'm watching, like, this dude's doing some squats. And then one more thought. We were just at Rachel's beautiful daughter's wedding. It was so amazing. I know Rachel can dance, but let me tell you, folks in the audience, little inside baseball, pull the curtain back. Hegseth can dance, too. Kids got some. I saw it, right, Rachel?
Yeah.
The kids got moves. Don't let him fool you. I know he's a tough guy.
Sure.
Military man, Joey, he's tough, but he's got some moves I don't have. I was very jealous.
I believe it.
My wife was like, look at Pete dancing. Yeah, he can move.
Pete's got moves, and the kids have moves. The kids are really, they're partiers.
We'll get you an invite, Dan, to the next big one. They're all big on the conference series, but Flo Rida's next level. We'll get it to you.
Yeah.
To the C-suite level at Fox. We've got to work on this better. We've got to work. I need to be there. By the way, one more thing. I feel bad for the next guy performing after Flo Rida. That looked amazing. You better really tear it up to the next guy coming in, or the woman, whoever it is.
Good point. I feel sorry for the next guy.
That's right.
All right, Dan, so we're going to move on to something else. There's a lot of outrage because of the Supreme Court decision, and now left-wing activists are taking it to the justices. They've been in front of their homes. Now they're following them at restaurants and getting them chased out of restaurants. I mean, you have a little bit of experience with this. You saw what that was like when you left the White House with your wife, and they surrounded you. What's going on here? This is actually, as bad as it was for you, this is actually next level, because it's against the law to do this to Supreme Court justices.
You know, given my, again, prior line of work here, these are the kinds of stories that really dig at me, and they really shouldn't be political. And I know that's hard to say in this hyper-partisan ecosystem we all live in now. But guys, ladies, we can't have a functioning constitutional republic if public servants, Supreme Court justices and people in power are constantly the target of harassment and potentially violence. I mean, you just saw, tragically, Shinzo Abe, former prime minister of Japan, murdered in cold blood. And having interviewed probably, I don't know, 50 people when I was in the protective intelligence squad of the Secret Service who had threatened openly one of our protectees, you know, most of them are not sane. It doesn't mean all people with mental illness or violence. That's not what I'm saying. I spent a lot of years studying psychology, and it's not really the case. But a lot of people who are violent do have mental illness. That's not necessarily working the inverse. You get what I'm saying? So what I'm saying here is, you may think to this, what was it like, Justice Now or whatever, Justice DC, saying, hey, we're putting a bounty on where they are. You may think you're being too cute by half and intimidating and harassing people. But I'm telling you, there's someone out there like the crazy person who showed up at Kavanaugh's house who's not reading what you think you're writing. They're reading something totally different. There it is, shut down D.C. They can see the tweet on the screen here. I have been there. I'm telling you, I have been in the room. I protected Obama and Clinton, too. Not just Bush, but I did my job because it mattered, because we have a functioning constitutional republic. They are not reading what you're writing. You're writing, or what you think you're writing is, oh, give us some information. We're going to go harass these people because we think it's funny, and we're going to try to get abortion back in the Supreme Court or whatever. That other person is reading, let me go kill this guy at this location. You all are condoning it. They're not sane. I've read it. And you just read what this guy wrote, what he said, the guy who killed Abe. To read what he said. At one point, he says something like, I wasn't really mad at him or something. You just killed him. And for a guy like me who's interviewed these people over and over, I'm telling you, listen to me, beam in. That is not even uncommon. They have a severe mental illness. They are sociopathic. They don't think like you and I do. The idea of behavior consequence doesn't work for them. And something bad's going to happen. I'm telling you, you got the tape. It's 9:10 Eastern time on Saturday. It's going to happen.
Dan, do you think that the Biden administration or the Biden Department of Justice is taking this seriously enough? Do you think they're putting the right resources behind it?
Joey, this Department of Justice is to call it a disgrace is a disgrace to the word disgrace. Merrick Garland is a cosmic level embarrassment. This guy, really, he makes Eric Holder look like Elliot Ness. I mean, this guy is a disgrace to humankind. He has the opportunity right now. Biden's not going to fire him. There's not a chance in hell Biden's going to fire him. The guy's got enough problems on his hands. But he hasn't fired Javier Becerra or Javier Baccaria, as he calls him. No one even knows where this guy is at HHS. He's not going to fire Garland. Garland could come out tomorrow and say, listen, I work with, not for, the White House, okay? This is unacceptable. I am the Attorney General for the United States, not for the White House. Yeah. And I may not agree with their politics in a prior life, whatever it may be, to say it or not, but this is totally unacceptable. We are not going to allow this. And you know what? I think the public, ironically, it would actually help Biden's approval ratings. But he won't do it. His credibility, absolutely, he won't. And so the answer is no. This man is a coward. And believe me, I don't throw that term around often. A guy like you knows that, Joey. Yeah. You get called that. I mean, there's no better picture of bravery on this network than you. You get called that as a man, that's a tough thing. And I'm telling you, Merrick Garland is a coward with a capital C, and I mean that.
Yep, he and others continue to cater to the hard left. That's why Joe Biden has said next to nothing about this kind of intimidation. The press secretary, given another chance by Peter Doocy to clarify, still won't condemn the idea that you're pressuring people outside of restaurants. So let's try a third one. Kamala Harris was interviewed by CBS News, asked about not necessarily this, but the idea of Roe and codifying it. Maybe she'll give a steady hand and a clear answer, or not. Listen.
Did Democrats fail, past Democratic presidents, congressional leaders, to not codify Roe v. Wade over the past 5 decades?
I think that, to be very honest with you, I do believe that we should have rightly believed, but we certainly believe that certain issues are just settled. Certain issues are just settled.
Clearly we're not.
No, that's right. And that's why I do believe that we are living, sadly, in real unsettled times.
What's more unsettling, Dan, the reality of what we're facing or the reality of our leadership, or so-called?
Guys, it was like date night last night, so I haven't seen that. We were hanging, that's why my eyes are so blurry, me and Paula. Probably too much information for the air, but whatever. So I haven't seen, that's the first time I saw that. That is hilarious. You realize she just said 2 completely contradictory things, right? This is Kamala Harris. The issue's settled. And then Bob Costa goes, well, not really. And she goes, yeah, not really. It's unsettled. This is, you know what's Kamala Harris? I used to do recruiting for the Secret Service in the Long Island office, and we'd interview people totally not ready for the job. And one of the ways I would know that is, you ever see that guy or that woman that uses words they clearly don't know what they mean, but they're big words they saw in an SAT book and they use them anyway? We would be like, okay, we would BQA them. Better qualified applicant, you got to go, right? We'd tell me, that's Kamala Harris. What is she talking? We have a segment on my radio show called What the Is She Saying, right? What is she saying? And all we do is fill it in with, I'm not messing with you. My producer Jim does it all the time. What is that? The issue's settled. No, it's not. You're right. No, it's not. This is the vice president. This is the vice president. This isn't the Sabrett hot dog sales guy down the corner from Fox at like 52nd Street. This is the vice president of the United States. She has no idea what she's talking about, ever. She makes Joe Biden look like William Shakespeare. Like this guy's a wordsmith.
Maybe she's doing her job then. Maybe that's what the job is now.
You know what, Joey? This may be the greatest dipsy-do flipperoo we've ever seen, right? Someone told Kamala it's over for you, so just say ridiculous neologisms and word salads, just make things up, so you make Joe Biden look eloquent and you save us in 2022. You may be right. Joey Jones, you're a smart man. That's what's going on behind the scenes.
Taking credit for that
really
theory. That's
stupid stuff.
Yeah, well, it's getting to the point where the Democrats are even embarrassed about this. I mean, they're not happy with her responses, especially on an issue that they care so much about. Dan, you have a great show tonight. Tell us about it.
Well, it's great because you're on it. I love Rachel Campos Duffy on the show talking about the ridiculous, horrifying attacks on conservative Hispanic women. Adam Carolla is hilarious in the opening block where I shred Joe Biden as the worst president ever. But I tell you why. It's easy to say that. Carolla's got one of the best analogies I've ever heard. And my friend Charles Chuck Marino, we talk about that just horrible tragedy in Japan. And Pete and Joey, I've experienced in the space just the massive security failure and why, what went wrong. He was a colleague of mine in the Secret Service. It's worth your time to check it out. It's a really good segment, so I hope you all like the show.
Especially once you see the pictures of how the proximity of that individual with a bag.
Yeah.
I wouldn't know about the types of protocols, but you would. So I'll be watching that tonight to understand how
Pete,
that could have happened.
Watch the 6. Joey, you know what that means.
Absolutely.
I don't need to tell. Watch
Absolutely.
the 6 every single time. You don't got the 6, you don't have anything. And that failed.
And they didn't.
All right. Well, Unfiltered with Dan Bongino tonight. Don't miss it.
Thank you, Dan.
Always good. Thank you, Dan.